Hello, and it's hi from Skye. How are you all doing? Come on, guys. Hi. So I know the lighting's not great here, but you'll be able to see the presentation for all you guys joining us at home. And so really what we're looking at here is the body. Obviously, we're here for fasting. So we've taken food out of the equation, and we're now starting to understand a lot more about the power of fasting for healing. We've done a little bit of letting go. We've been in the river. We did some coherent breathing. So really focusing in on the innate intelligence inside the body. So I wanted to stream this out live for you guys so that you could see this too. So we're looking at going from 3 to 5 dimensional understanding, the new story. So what does that even mean? Well, here you are in all your technicolor glory. This part of the body, the Chinese have worked with the energy system forever, but in the West, we've ignored it. So this is really what we look like, as well as obviously as this. So you have body there, the physical part, and you have the energetic part. And like we were talking about this morning, if you joined this morning's live, we're moving through the energy centers, different colours. It's all about the flow of electricity, literally, the electromagnetic field, and how energy moves through the body, and how our emotions and our thoughts are electrical and magnetic in nature. Our thoughts are electrical and our feelings are magnetic. And you can see how they travel literally at the speed of light through the body. So we're pretty gorgeous, aren't we, really? And so when we're working with energy medicine, which is really what we do at Heal Scotland and what we've been doing here at the Heal Inn, this is what we're talking about. So you can see there's fractals, there's sacred geometry, there's shapes, there's frequencies. That's the level we're looking at the human body, and it's quantum physics. So it's getting pretty well documented and known now that we have this energy system. Our heart really being probably the most incredible, powerful organ in the body, although they're all cool. I don't want to leave any of them out. The heart is the one that is beating out. When we're in coherence, it is affecting it and infecting. We're affecting and infecting each other. And whether we're doing it through fear or love really inevitably becomes a choice. So we know what we want, don't we? So the chakra system, and I'm not going to spend any time at all really on the slides. It's just a quick presentation to help you shift your perception of what the body is. The energy centers, we call chakras or energy centers. It doesn't matter. They have a color, they have a key, they have a shape, and they're connected to our internal organs. As simple as that. And when you watch The Source, if you've not watched it already, you will realise what we're starting to understand now is that we're drawing information from the field in through the energy centres. And Joe's research is really showing that. Why are we looking at frequency in the electromagnetic field? Because we are vibration. We are frequency. And this is David Hawkins' version. We've been talking earlier about the Sedona method chart. This is his version of the emotional chart. And you can see the darker the colour, red, grief, apathy, guilt and shame. I'll send you this presentation if you want, guys. And then you can see the exact same thing. As the colours start to get lighter, look where we go. We go up the vibrational scale. And guess how we start to feel? Yeah, and it is light. This electricity actually is light. So again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time in this, but understanding what frequency are you in instead of what mood are you in, which can be really annoying. What frequency are you in, and can you change your own frequency? We know the answer to that, don't we? We feel often that we're the victim of the trauma, the emotions, and the past. victim of people triggering us and annoying us. But when we start to really look at this work, we have the power to move up the vibrational scale. And sometimes you have to move away from people that are particularly challenging to do this work on yourself. So when you get up into these higher frequencies of love, joy, peace, and enlightenment, that's when we get the flow. And as an individual in Scotland or anywhere, but we're talking about Heal Scotland today, in order to be the change that all of us want change, don't we? We're not happy with what's going on. We're not happy with the government. We're not happy with the foods. We're not happy with a lot of things that are going on. There's so much corruption, so much greed. But in order for us to really, truly be the change, you've heard it loads of times, this is what the stuff that we need to know so that we can come up the emotional guidance scale and take that frequency into our families, into our workplace, and into our communities, so that we can actually, when we have conflict, which we will have, we'll have different opinions, we can come at it from a neutral place of, right, let's get down to basics here and how we're going to solve the problems. Because we solve problems up here, don't we? And we create them down here. So when we move out of that problem, you can see we're going into acceptance, willingness. We're moving from problem to solution, from contraction to expansion. And this, as I say, the Heal Scotland mission, I think, is going to be our biggest challenge. But we like challenges, so we're up for it. And the more of this information that we can get out to people and help them to understand, you go in the river, you've changed your mood, your frequency. You let go, you've changed your frequency. You eat great food, you change your frequency. You get out in the natural light, you stare out at the views in this phenomenal space, you change your frequency. There's hundreds, literally, of ways to do it. But will you do it? Because we're in victim perpetrator model, we want to hold on and we want people to suffer because they've made us suffer. That's the old 3D way. And now we're like that going, actually, I'm not going to wait on you changing any longer. I'm just going to change myself. So, like I was saying, the entire energy system that runs through the body. Now, again, Joe Dispenza uses 8 energy centres. Some people use 7s. I think there's energy all over the body. Let's not get caught up in the details. Each centre has a colour, it has a note, it has a frequency, and it has a sound. And we'll be singing through our chakras at some point over the next day. Well, we've got a day and a half left. So this is really important to know if you're sick. Because if your organs are struggling underneath your solar plexus, for example, let's hope I put this in. Sorry, I need to jump forward. Sorry. There it is. So if your spleen, for example, or your stomach is malfunctioning, and it may be, you've not been drinking enough water, your diet's not been good, you've got a lot of stress, but the anxiety and the trust are what affects the stomach, the spleen, and the pancreas. So is that helpful to know? Yeah, because what we're looking at is if people are wanting to heal, is giving them very bespoke and specific protocols for that. Not just generic ones, but ones that are going to work for you. So, or maybe it's the lungs, grief and courage. So what are the lungs telling us? There's an issue here on that emotional level. So let's just jump back up to where we were, because I want to, so with the chakras, it's interesting because when I was putting slides together for this, there's even controversy around what sound is in some of them. When you go into Google, you're going to get lots of different opinions and ideas around what it is. So you really just have to work some of that stuff out yourself. This is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be singing through these chakras. So we know that the throat's about communication. And like I was saying earlier, you can under-communicate and you can over-communicate. So what you want is it in balance. So you can actually use that sound to help clear your throat chakra, the energy system. And that will inevitably affect, obviously, your thyroid. your throat, the upper part of your digestive system. And what we're realizing now is the power of mantras, the power of the repetition of the sound to change the vibration is really, really key. And so in the West, we're a bit shy at using our voice. But what are you doing? Mantras and humming and chanting through your chakras. But when you really understand, it's making a sound that's going to clear the energy in that area and in these organs. And as we were talking about earlier, your lungs are your connection to life. You want these babies working properly. So if you have a lung issue, you can obviously do breath work. You can do some vocals on it. You can look at your diet. You know, you could be outside in fresh air. So we're now starting to go, right, okay, let's see this in a much, much more holistic way, that vibrational way. So nausea frequencies, which we can deliver to you, and I'll send you guys that are here with me, I'll send you guys the app. Paul Nausea discovered that healthy tissues have their own frequencies or vibration and their own vibratory pattern and shapes. In a state of illness, they fall out of these patterns or change the wavelengths of their vibrations, disrupting their normal resonance frequencies. Rife discovered this as well, the Rife frequencies. And all the technology that I was showing you last night is that everything has a frequency, has a vibration. And what we're discovering now is that we can use the vibration of sound to change the information that's going into the body via this very, very intelligent acoustic speaker that we call the ear. So we can take in information via our ears and it will change the information going through that energy body that you saw at the start. So I'm not going to go through all this. You can look at this. I'll send you this presentation. Emotional reactions, intellectual organs, cellular health and vitality, nutritional digestion, movement, what's that one there? Coordination and pain control, all having frequencies. And with the Genius Insight, we can send you these frequencies to help you rebalance. Are they going to balance with one listen? No. Would you support that in other ways? I would, definitely. So if you had an issue with your liver, for example, I'd support you with healing frequencies, but I would also be looking, obviously, at cleansing the liver, be looking at nutrition for the liver, be looking at visualization exercises for the liver. So we wouldn't just say one thing's going to fix that. We'd be looking at a variety of things that can support that liver back to its full. Does that make sense to everyone? And so that's the frequencies again. And remember, you think, right, okay, somebody with Parkinson's, for example, and we send out that 1168 hertz, triggers muscle contractions, offers therapeutic benefits for spasms, stomach dysfunction, and conditions that cause tremors like Parkinson's disease. So we can say we're sending you the frequencies to help that. And what's your mind going to think once you understand this stuff? The placebo effect comes in. So I am doing something. I have the power to change this because it's just energy. Now, if you think of the body as a big, heavy duty meat suit, and that's a big lump of that, and that's a big lump of this, and I need to store that off and cut that up, that's allopathic medicine. That's what we do. And I'm getting you to me if you want, can help people. I'm not saying don't do that. But when we're looking back upstream at prevention, this is where it's at. Because we can really flood the body with frequencies, we can rebalance the systems so that further down the line you're not going to need surgery. And surely, for millions of reasons, that's where we want to go. The colour spectrum has a frequency. And now you can see that's the chakra system, can't you? So the visible spectrum, and the way Joe Dispenza talks about it, we come from everywhere we come from, and we hit the spectrum of light. And as soon as we can see, because of the light, we think we're separate. And that's where the illusion of duality and separation comes from the light field. But we need the light, right? We need to be able to see stuff. So the frequency of the colours that we can see, and somebody said it the other day, the world looks brighter. The more of this work that you do, the more you're going to see colour. It's going to be brighter and lighter. And again, all different frequencies. And this is your ear. I put these books down here. Sorry for you guys at home, but it's just to show the interconnection of absolutely everything in the body. I don't know if anybody's ever done Sujok. All the points in your hands that lead to your internal organs. You can do that yourself. All the points in your ears. When my mum was dying, my friend was a Chinese doctor, came into, she was actually had anxiety, terrible anxiety. She had vascular dementia. So my friend Emma came in and brought needles to calm her down, showed me things to do to calm her down, all based on this. Places to touch. Isn't that a lovely thing to do? So, again, I'm not going to go into detail around this, but it's just to show you that ear. You just think it's an ear, don't you? You can put earrings in and make them look nice. I mean, how magnificent is that? As are our feet. So, has anybody not had reflexology? Yeah, if you've all had it, so you know how incredible it is. And they're just like that, oh, you've got this, what about this? What? So the information that we can get, well, I can't get it, but somebody could get from my feet is incredible. And obviously, this system runs on the electromagnetic field. So when you put that bare foot on the ground, the free flow of electrons that comes from the planet travels up through these electrical points, all the way through your body. Energizing and clearing, and I think most people now understand earthing, grounding, whatever you want to call it, for inflammation. But also, you don't know what it's going to clear out of your electrical lines because we don't really know what's in there. It's a really, really great habit. I know it's not always possible, but even sometimes in this weather, you can have your bare feet on the ground and you can get grounded. You're at your most grounded when you're in the salt water, when you're in the sea. That's when you're like charged. So, and here's the 5 elements, and you can see the elements are connected to the organs. Are you starting to get my message about the connectedness of absolutely everything, and why when we're looking for solutions for things, we think one thing's going to help. We'll take that pill, that supplement, that antibiotic. I mean, it's madness how we do it. Absolute madness. And it's great to see lifestyle prescriptions coming into the fray, because this is the only way we're going to address our issues. We need to interact with the elements. Why? They give us life. And we need to have the elements in balance. So again, I'm not going to, you can see, you'd be here for a week if I went through all the details in these slides, but if you're interested in any particular area, then you can go down that rabbit hole by yourself. So we're starting to see, I mean, I just love this. I would love to know much more detail about it. But so here we are with the chakras, the colours, and the organs that are underneath. Because I think this is really, again, to reinforce this point. When we have at the solar plexus, all your sexual relationships, not solar plexus, it's a sacral chakra. So, and of course, you've got under there, it tells you, it's really helpful to know what organs are underneath these centres, so that with the Hamer conflict and understanding why, if the body is malfunctioning or does malfunction in the future, what could be the emotional attachment to that, and has there been trauma that needs to be processed? Because it's all just about processing energy. And as we know, there's loads of different ways to do that. My dad died of lung cancer. And the doctor said, well, he didn't smoke, but they said it was passive smoking back in the 19 canteen. But my dad's mum died when he was 5. And you're like, maybe? maybe that affected his lungs, because we know that lungs are about grief. But because in our the model that we currently use, we don't look at that. We don't look at all the things that have happened in your life and then make sense of what the body's exhibiting and carrying now. Does that make sense? And we've just seen that one. So again, this is a very basic, primary one model of what happens. But again, it's very helpful to know, especially with the liver, because the liver obviously is your big main drain, and you need that baby working so that it can help drain, keep what's good and get rid of what's not good. And we do, being Scottish, we can put it under our liver to quite a lot of stress. I know I've put mine under a lot of stress in the past. And anger, there's a lot of issues with anger. That's how a lot of people communicate, because they don't understand that hurt people. And if you've been traumatized, and a lot of people have as a child, then that can come out as an adult. So it just gives you a really much bigger overview of what the body's doing and when people are sick. It's not always the emotion. And there's some people, what's the emotional root cause? It could be actual physical damage, but it's really helpful to know this. So smile to your heart and your organs. I mean, this is just like what we're doing this morning with the coherence. When you go into coherence, do your organs benefit? Mm-hmm. Of course they do. Because where do we carry all our stress? Here, don't we? It might be in the heart, the solar plexus, and say, but you feel it, can't you? And what happens when you're feeling that stress in there? What's happening to your poor organs? There's body. Bring body in here. Yeah. So these organs are, the vagus nerve travels all the way from the root, all the way up the body into the face. And it wanders into all of the organs, sending information. So when you're trying to digest your food, you're also trying to answer emails and you're thinking about things and you're what happens in your digestive system? It's overwhelmed. Can it work? Digest the food properly. Yeah, absolutely. And you start to burn up things. People that are stressed, they run about like a headless chicken, and they're, they can become quite manic. And the body quite literally cannot digest the food. So and there's, again, I'm not saying there's one reason for Crohn's and IBS, there's multiple reasons for all these digestive issues that so many young people are suffering from. And pain in the gut, because it's just years and years of not paying attention to this. And when they discovered it initially, they put people on antidepressants, their digestive issues would go away. Why? Because they relaxed. Not recommending antidepressants at all, but it's just when you go into a state of ease, the body can do what it's meant to do, digest the food. And the vagus nerves are bugger, because he wanders in everywhere. And if the vagus nerve isn't your nervous system is obviously dictating a lot of your health nowadays. The polyvagal theory, which is really powerful, and to understand how it's influencing absolutely everything. And it's so important for us to really address and able to stress, because you can eat as many organic carrots as you like. If you're running and poisoning yourself with stress hormones and not digesting your food, the body just shoots it back out the other side. It's not getting any of the goodness from it. So it's really, really important that your stomach is at ease. And obviously, when things like fungus, which lives there quite happily, but it's come in to do a job, the parasites come, worms, viruses, whatever is going on in there, and there's inflammation, low-grade infections, etc., that can inhibit the digestive process too. The microbiome completely out of balance with a carb sugar-heavy diet. And then you start to feel anxious because the microbiome's like, feed me, pizza and beer, come on, pizza and beer. And we just assume that that feeling is coming from us. We don't realise that actually the microbes transfer the information through our body. That's mental, isn't it? So our organ sounds, listen to Tai Chi. So, ha, shoo. So you can, if you have heartache, you can use these sounds to soothe, because it's all about self-soothing, taking the stress out of the body. And again, you might find you might feel really weird doing it. So what? It's just because we didn't understand what we were doing, the sound. And again, you go back to these indigenous tribes that are dancing around the fire and making all these sounds and noises. They knew what they were doing. It was us that didn't understand, looking on and making these noises that weren't words exactly, they were actual noises. So we'll do some Tai Chi. Hopefully we can do it outside. And do you know what Tai Chi? Qigong. And we can make these sounds and talk to our organs. Everybody read this book? Bessel van der Kolk? Unbelievable book. The body keeps score. That's again what we're talking about here. What happens from the mouth all the way down. The bowel food movement slows down, blood pressure increases, vessels dilate, muscles tense, the heart beats faster and harder, all of that. So, and obviously what happens is your IQ drops 12%, is it? When you're in the fight or flight, because it's not the state for solving mathematical equations. It's the state for running away. And what happens is we maybe have a hurt or a trauma, and then time passes, and we think, oh, it's fine, I'm fine with that now. But the good old body, the hard drive, is still holding information. And we know from Vida's work, family constellations, that we're carrying our ancestral garbage as well as our own. And this family system. So it's really important, again, to not get caught up in this and blame yourself in any shape or form. Just see it as a really inspiring new information that you can use to be much lighter and brighter. So I thought this one was interesting. Physical hunger versus emotional hunger. Can you see the difference? So we know perfectly well we could probably live for weeks without food. I don't know if you've watched the guys that crashed in the Andes. They've done a remake of that unbelievable story. They were stuck out there with no food, and then they ended up eating the dead people. It's just such a fascinating story on so many levels. And anyway, you need to watch it, it's brilliant. And they've now done a documentary with the guys that survived Nando Parado. It's just phenomenal. And it just makes you go, if I ever bleat about hunger. You think of these guys in the snow, in the high altitude, realising no help's coming for them, and the hunger that they had. And actually, it's really interesting if you watch it, how people just gave up. These guys are just like, I'm not giving up. I'm going to try and get out of here. I'm going to die trying rather than just sitting. And that's a choice as well, isn't it? So when you're fasting, if you start getting wee cravings, which I want to talk to you about, because I think it's important, we need to get rid of all the cravings, the wee stories that we have. Oh, I like this. Oh, I have to have that. Do you? So if anybody's ever done the ketogenic diet, you literally stop eating when and the same, I've been eating John's amazing food since I came here. And I had a steak the other day, and I had to stop eating it, which I never normally do, because I was absolutely full. And I was like, oh, they're getting wiser. stop eating when you're full instead of just keeping going until the plate's empty. Now this is the periodic chart. Is anybody familiar with this? I'm not going to. This is really interesting. Right? I don't know if you saw the Joe Rogan and Terence. Anyway, there's a big debate going on between the real scientists. And Joe Rogan took this guy on. He's in the films, he's an actor, but he got really into this, looking at the periodic table, the elemental charts and the minerals, and he was saying we're looking at it wrong. So basically the debate is, you've got a film star saying, by the way, you guys that think you're brilliant, I've made a mistake, and they're all like, you're an idiot, who do you think you are? And he basically, as they say, Eric Weinstein came on and started actually debating with him. He came out your lane. Because if you are ingrained and been working in that field for 40 years or 50 years, you don't want somebody coming in and saying, actually, I think you look at it this way. Anyway, what really intrigued me, because obviously I work with a doctor in Canada, and the whole idea of everything having a frequency and sound, that's all old news to me. So, but then Eric Weinstein actually phoned one of his friends. He said this on Joe Rogan. He said, is there a frequency to these minerals? Is there a sound? And I was like, God, he didn't know that. Because how do you, unless you're actually, there's the world of information and the internet now. So it's really, really interesting that they've got a colour, they've got a frequency, they've got a sound, and that you can deliver these things in a different way. So anyway, that's the table that, because they're even fighting about that, which table was right. So epigenetics, again, Bruce Lipton made this very famous, and that we are not the victim of our genes and that we have. Epigenetics just means above the genes, outside the genes. And when he discovered that he put identical cells in a dish, and then he just started mucking about, putting different things into them because he could, and then realised that you can change the cell with different information. And most importantly, that information comes from the beliefs, the thoughts, the emotions, the intentions, which are quite difficult to measure. I mean, how do I know what you believe? How do I even know what I believe? What's in my subconscious? I might say, oh, I can heal myself, but is that the subconscious belief? So we have to, that's what takes a lot of exploring. We're the programmers of code. How do you like them apples? DNA activation is our software upgrade. So we literally are like a supercomputer. So the drama triangle, the victim perpetrator, we talk about a lot in family constellations. But have you ever been in that drama triangle? Have you played all the roles? Yeah. So the new story is that we move out of these dramas. And like I keep saying, I think this is possibly, well, maybe not. As the vibration comes up, apparently there's a whole load of new frequencies coming in that are going to upgrade us quite naturally. And I think the thing is, we're all upgrading. It doesn't really matter who it is. You might look at some people in your family and think, if only they would listen to me, I could help them. This is me I'm talking about. And then you realise, we're all changing and evolving and becoming more conscious. Even the people that may not hear it's happening. So, but I think it's very good to understand this, the victim perpetrator. And when you look at family constellations, then you're looking at the victim perpetrator. Who's the baddie? Who's the goodie? And how that can flip. Somebody can flip it round, and you find that narcissism brilliant at that. It can suddenly, so you're maybe trying to have a conversation to say, maybe if your behaviour, this is what's really annoying me, and they flip it out. oh yeah, it's all about me. Yeah, it's because you don't really love me, and it's, you know, we can just flip it round. And it's really good to understand it, because, and then be aware in case you're doing it yourself. So with the releasing flow charts, this is where we're going. We're taking ourselves from apathy, grief, fear, lust, anger, and anxiety, and we're moving, releasing into courageousness, acceptance, and peace. And you can see how you feel when you're over here, and when you start to let go using the Sedona method, how you can move yourself over there. The more you practice it, the better you'll get at it. And like I was saying before, it's not that you don't take action, and it's not that you don't put a boundary in. You don't just let everybody walk all over you and do what they want. You don't do that at all. But when you're coming from a place where you're released and your acceptance, you can say things and you can put your boundaries in, hopefully without upsetting other people or feeling that there's a very good reason why you're putting these boundaries in. So the heart. So what we're really looking at now, and plant medicines are playing a huge part in this, is this union of the masculine and feminine. And the heart is the major communicator. It's feeling things way before your brain. It's helping you to understand where to go, where not to go. It is just simply incredible, the information that you're going to get from it once you start really let go of fear and the lack of love, and also the understanding now that we can create that unconditional love frequency within us. You can do it with plants, you can do it with breathwork, and that's really this baby is where we want to be putting our focus. And when we let go of the past, so I want you just to gaze at that and check into your internal environment and tell me how it makes you feel. What do you feel when you gaze at that, Mother Nature? You feel the change in your body when you stare at them. That's it. What else? Anything else? I mean, it can make sense like up and out. That's what it's doing to me. But yeah, it's just a view, isn't it? Feel it in your body. I'm going to change the picture, and I want you to feel what you're feeling with this. Look at Chris did with bow tie. Feel. Feel that. Look at the hair he's got. And then the last one. What do you feel when you look at that? Oh, Jack Thompson's friends. So, can you see how often the body's responding to things? How many times a day are you having a feeling?
Probably every second.
All day, every day, feeling things, aren't we? And when we really start to take care of the heart and let go of the pains and the hurts and whatever from the past, and really start to use our incredible imagination. This is how the new story is going to come. This is how we're going to heal by thought alone. And this is what Joe's work's doing. It's teaching us the power of our mind over our body. Thoughts that harm, thoughts that heal. The biggest tip I can give you is hang around the like-minded others. Hang around the people that make you laugh, make you feel good. Because of all the things that can affect how you feel, it's going to be other humans. And as we move up in this journey, as our consciousness rises and we move towards different ways of being, healing, and different ways of living, and we move out the crazy world that we're living in now, we're going to be required to regulate our emotional guidance system. And it's just an awful lot easier if you're around like-minded others. Now, again, as somebody who ran a retreat for 3 months, lived with these people who I love, every single one of them, they taught me so much. I'm still friends with pretty much all of them today. But when you've got 80% of people struggling to get well, then it can bring the other 20 down. The 80% of people that are well, bringing 20% of people in that are struggling. I'm saying 80-20. Obviously, that might not be exact, but that's really when we're looking at, as a country, changing our health trajectory. That's what we need to be looking at, is having lots of healthy, strong people to help bring people up. Because what we can't do is make ourselves sick, and then we're no use to man or beast. So, thanks, guys, on the live. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you could hear me okay. I'm just about to shut you off, and I'll see you soon.